Hello, 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 hello. Come in, come in. You all, let's talk about this economy. Just want to have some teaching moments right now. I haven't been feeling that well in the last couple of days. I've had some procedures to my dental procedures, and I'm not a big component of taking medication. I'm just really not. But I had this medication for some days, and it was prescribed medication. And I went outside, did some work in my yard, and I came back in. I felt dehydrated, and I had a headache, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should kind of take this over the counter prescription medication. I promise you, I took it, and in an hour time, I felt a whole lot better. So that's a big lesson for me, right? Again, I know people want to be, naturalists and everything. I believe in holistic health and holistic healing, but I do believe in prescription medication when I'm feeling signs. When I'm feeling signs of sickness, I don't just take it as a preventative measurement. I do. Holistic health, exercising, sun gazing, et cetera, et cetera. And I had the signs today. I took my prescription medicine, which I believe is just temporary. I don't, depend on it for long term uses. And it knocked the pain right out. So I'm glad that I'm able to live stream, although you probably will hear some slurring in my speech. So come in. Hello, everyone. Hello, tuning in. I'm going to get right into this. Mike says, hello, hello, hello. Get some blessed oil. Uh, you know what? I'm not against blessed oil. There was a time some years ago where I was attending a church and I had bad migraine headaches. And I promise you, I went to a church. I went to the altar. Who is my godmother? My godmother was ministering that day. I promise you, she laid hands on me, blessed me. Because earlier, in my earlier years, I had epilepsy. And I promise you, I've never had a migraine issue or another seizure since that day in that church. So I'm not against the laying on hands and bless all, right? But what I am telling people that it comes a time in your life where you have to take other health measurements as well. You can't just be codependent on that all the time. There are reasons why your body is giving you signs of, but I do believe in miraculous healing through the laying on of hands. Now I do believe in that. It has. I'm a witness that it has happened to me. I've never had a migraine and a seizure ever since then. So I don't make fun of that. I believe people can get miraculously healed. Um, I know that I get into church and religion a lot, and some people might be confused that they think that I'm totally against it. No, I'm not against it, right? But what I'm saying is you cannot get a healing and get in the prayer line, for example, high blood pressure and continue to eat high pork foods or not want to exercise or not want to take health incentives. But I am a recipient of instant healing and blessing all. So I'm not against that. It's all about energy, frequency, and vibration and things according to your faith and having people that are in alignment in a belief system with you. And it's simply a transfer of energy, frequency, and vibration, and both having faith in the healing power of an infinite God, right? But sometimes, in other words, I believe that people can get um, a healing. They're just not taught oftentimes how to maintain their health. I'll say it that way. I believe in the power of healing and laying on hands and bless all, but people have not been taught to maintain their health, right? So Mike says hello, hello, hello. You all come in, hit that thumbs up, hit that thumbs up. Let's get into this discussion. I've had some conversations this morning. Even I wasn't feeling my best, but I think I want to start with the housing market. Why a lot of people that bought homes within the past year is going to regret it, right? Is going to regret it because I made this post on Facebook and I had a lot of people on Facebook to say why. Why do you think that people that purchase homes that were overpriced and an overinflated economy system, why do you think they will regret it? And I'm going to break this down to you. Now, I'm going to give you these scenarios. So you bought a house in an overpriced housing market that was inflated within the last year. This is an example. I'm not, talking to any specific person. This is for teaching illustration purposes only. So if, for example, someone bought a home within the last year, we know that the housing market was highly inflated, overpriced, right? People were getting two, three times, 10, 11, 12 offers, 10x more for a house than what the asking price was on the market. Interest rates dropped. Um, the government and media joined together and said, supply and demand, right? They create the problem, wait for the reaction, then provide the solution as typical government. So what happens, this is just a scenario. If someone purchased a home within the last year, for example, this is a scenario of something that could happen. That person could need to relocate. Maybe they have a job offer and they need to relocate. Maybe they have a loss of job as the whole purpose of some cryptocurrencies, some, and I'm going to tell you why I say some in a few minutes, is to bring in AI, artificial intelligence, machines, and robots, higher technology to replace the job of people. So now people are having layoffs. Layoffs are happening, maybe a job loss, or maybe some type of accident, incident. Could be family medical issues arise, and a person has to relocate to take care of a family member or a loved one, or maybe they have a better job opportunity in another state, right? These are just scenarios. Now, this person purchased a home at the highest peak, the highest price in the market. So let's say, for example, they have a $2,000 monthly payment on their home, $2,000 monthly payment. Well, they purchased a home, and these are just fictitious numbers. They purchased a home for, let's say, $230,000. That's very moderate for what home prices were going for. So $230,000, even at a 3% interest rate, 2% interest rate, right? A $2,000 a month mortgage payment, and they have to or they need to relocate for unforeseen reasons. Now, their house, however, is when the fall comes and the housing market begins to dip, and we're going to see a crash and collapse, just like we're seeing in stock market, Dow Jones, and cryptocurrencies. Now, let's say that house is now worth $200,000, right? That's $45,000 upside down, meaning that no one is going to purchase that home. No one is going to purchase that home for the 245K that they may be in the debt for. Not even close to the 245K. So now if they sell it, they owe a gap of 45,000, maybe $35,000. So they're going to be upside and they're going to be owing the bank. So they decide, okay, maybe it's better off that I rent it. But now that they relocate, they cannot purchase another house because their current house is still under their name. So they have to relocate and be a rentor in another state. And now they cannot find a renter because the housing market has collapsed. It's upside down. Who will pay a 2,000 or pay the $2,000 mortgage under the current terms and conditions that they're under? So they might find a renter that would say, you know what, I pay $1,750 rent, $1,750. And then they will have to pay the additional $250 and then pay the rent that they currently have because of unforeseen circumstances. And what if a job goes away? Right? We know that they are saying that the numbers of the are increasing right now. What if a layoff comes? And that's this people, this is the most important lesson. So now you're upside down on the house. You have no equity in it, right? And you may not find a person that will rent that will pay the full rent. And so you're stuck with a house that's overpriced. You can't pull out for equity against it in case of emergency. And you may be in a situation where you have to wait at least 3 to 5 years or longer before you get on just even out with your house, improve it in its in equity state, that you are not upside down on the loan. And then you have people, for example, who may be landlords or renters of property. And if the banks call in their loans after this real estate market goes for its crash as well, the banks can say, hey, we want all of our money. We want all of our loan paid back in this amount of time because the banks can't call in your loans on demand. Well, they can't sell the house on the market for the amount of loan that they owe because no one's going to pay that price. Your equity has dropped. The housing prices has dropped. And someone on Facebook left a comment that says, no, the housing market, the prices is not going to drop. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's probably going to be by this fall. You're going to see prices dropping because you already have big corporations right now that's coming in and buying from builders and developers and communities. They're buying from builders and developers in communities, and they're not placing these houses back on the market for sale. They are placing these houses up for rent only. So America is geared towards a renter's nation. And even if, this is just a word of advice, if you was a person that flipped homes during this inflated housing market bubble and pricing, word of advice, make sure you have your tax money already saved up. Because the tax man is going to come for those capital gains. So please don't be in a situation where you flipped houses and you didn't put money aside to pay your taxes on those flips, right? Mr. Henry, who is in real estate, says when the corporations buy, that still creates the comparable. What comparables exactly are you talking about? Because I know people that are in real estate firsthand, and these corporations are coming in and buying up developers. And so a lot of people think, oh, when we see the housing market prices go down, I may be able to be a landlord, maybe you can, right? Maybe you can find some properties in other states if you have cash on hand to go out and purchase these properties and renovate them and everything. But at the same time, the best deals these big corporations are buying up, and they're buying them by the book. Still comparables to show how the values will still go up in value. Mm, well, We will see. Let me tell you, the banks, the government, and the IRS, that's another trinity that most people haven't heard about. You've heard about the trinity in the church. So again, if you've been flipping real estate, I hope you got your tax money set up right. This is where people start getting amnesia about their write-offs. Like, right, you might have $50,000 in write-off for one property or one house, but if you flip 10, 12 houses, the IRS is not going to take uh, so many write-offs for so many houses. So my word of advice is to make sure people have their tax money set up. Make sure if you've been a home buyer and it's overinflated, overpriced real estate market, that you can be upside down on loans. And if you have to relocate, right, you have no equity in that house. And this is another reason why I tell people to keep their credit up and intact and your cash flow, because now you getting equity out of your house is like the people in New Orleans, Louisiana, during Hurricane Katrina, right? The people had equity built up in their houses that they could have used to help them escape out of Louisiana because they was cash poor, but they had houses with equity. And because they didn't qualify credit wise, they couldn't even pull that equity out. Now, another thing that someone said on my Facebook channel was, that's why I refinance. I'm not into refinancing. I think refinancing is not as advantageous as a lot of people would think it is. You have so many commission fees for refinancing fees added on. And then much of that interest is really not saving you interest by the time they add commission fees. And then the other interest, that comes on the back end of the loan. To me, in my opinion, refinancing is not a good tool. How I built up 6 figures of equity in my home is, number one, I bought it after the market crash of 2008 and 2009. So I tell people, if you really want to be serious about investing in anything, you always buy on the low. You never, ever, whether it's a house, real estate, crypto, stocks, ever buy anything on the high end. Ever. Never buy when it's inflated. So most people look at the interest rate, but they don't look at that you're paying interest only towards that loan, right, up front, and escrow into that loan, that no matter how low the interest rate is, because that's the way mortgages, which means mortgage, which means death, are set up, that you're still going to pay double the amount of loan you have. So interest rates is nothing more than interesting. And that's what most people without a financial education do not understand. So if anything I would have did or will do, and I haven't taken out the equity on my loan because I don't see any investment I want right now. And then someone left a comment on one of my posts about, well, take the equity out of your house and buy silver. That's not a good suggestion, in my opinion, because silver does not cash flow. So if I did anything to take out the equity in my house, it would be through a HELOC, because a HELOC is revolving credit, and I could use the HELOC if I wanted to and took out money against the HELOC or pulled out money in the HELOC. It works just like any revolving credit, such as a credit card. And I could have took out money from my HELOC, from the equity in the house, and paid it on the principal of my original loan, and paid my original loan, my original mortgage down faster. The only time that you pay less interest rate in a mortgage is not when you refinance it. I don't care if you switch from a 30 to a 15 year mortgage. It's only when you take money and apply it towards the principal payment, because everything that other than that is uploaded with interest rates, you're only paying towards the interest rate of the loan, and you're only paying toward the escrow. So most people would have done better versus refinancing and paying thousands in commission fees of just taking that money and paying it towards the principal of the loan. I've used this strategy with credit cards. I've taken my credit cards and put extra payments on principal only, and sometimes you have to call your mortgage lender and ask them if they do this and will they accept it this way, because some of them will not. The mortgage lender that I have right now, they do. So I'm always putting extra money on the principal, and that's how I build up so much equity in my loan, in my house, and that's how I'm able to pay down my loan much, much, much faster. So instead of getting refinanced and paying thousands net, you can really just take the loan that you already have and ask to put lumps, and it has to be lump sum payments towards the principal. If you can put 5,000, for example, lump sum down on the principal of a mortgage, you can save 10 to 15,000 in interest. Most people don't know that. So I would never take out or refinance my house. If anything, I would use a HELOC, and then I would take out, let's say maybe $1,000 if I didn't want to do 5,000 of the HELOC, put it toward the principal of my main mortgage, cut thousands of dollars off of that loan, and then repay the $1,000 back into the HELOC. And I would continue to recycle and reduplicate that over and over again until my main mortgage is paid off. And I built up more interest in my main house. And then I would take that HELOC and invest it in more real estate, where I'm buying real estate outright, where I'm not in a position where banks can call in loans against me for any real estate debt that I have. Right. So you have to be careful that in these transition times, when you enter into recession, depression, using debt for real estate is great. It's a great tool to use because you don't have to pay um, any taxes on debt. When you take out a loan that's tax free, and actually you get tax deductions, right? Because you're paying back the loan, you're reservicing the loan. But in a recession, depression times, the strategy, right? We're playing chess over here, not checkers. The strategy has to change. That's what Dave Ramsey talked about when he talks about he lost everything because he had to file bankruptcy. He had so many houses that were in debt from the banks, rental houses and rental property. And then when recession and depression hit, the banks called the loans. Well, he couldn't sell the house because they was worth less than the loan amount he had gotten against them. So he had to file bankruptcy. He and his wife had to move in their parents' basements and start all over again. So I teach people you have to know the seasons and you have to know strategy. Most people, they want to listen to different people that give them different financial advice without knowing the whole financial education component. You have to know when to use debt as leverage. You have to know what's the best method to take out equity in your house. And another thing, I would never take out equity, for example, to pay a car note. I would never take out equity, for example, to pay for my children's college education. I would never take out equity to invest in commodities like silver and gold because that doesn't cash flow. And if I have to pay my HELOC, which is home equity line of credit, every month, then if I'm going to use my equity, it's going to be to invest in something that cash flows. So people that purchase a house within the last 12 months are probably going to have big, big regrets by fall because the housing market is going to come down. And a lot of people are going to be upside down on their loans. Now, let's get into cryptocurrency. right? Another conversation I had today, was on the phone with someone. They took out, this is a debt lesson. They took out loans against their crypto, right? And this is something I've always known about, but I never really talk about on my channel because I have to be careful. I have shared the information in my Patreon in private, but I have to be careful of, what I say, because some people are not in position to take out loans against their crypto. So this person took out loans against their cryptocurrency. And then I've never recommended Celsius, however, the Celsius network. Celsius is one of those networks that you could have took out a loan against your crypto, right? I've never recommended it. However, Celsius right now is prohibiting anybody to move any crypto in, any crypto out. In other words, it's very much centralized, meaning they control it. It's like having money in your bank account and it's frozen. You can't make any deposit, any withdrawals. And that's what Celsius is doing. So now people that had loans against their cryptocurrency, guess what? That loan has to be repaid. And now they've lost all of their crypto. They've lost all of their crypto. So when the repayment on loans come in, whether it's real estate, whether it's crypto, again, I never recommended Celsius Network. So I feel, good about it. I never told people that. Um, and then I did, say in my Patreon, about another exchange that you can take out loans against. But this is the thing. Once your loan to value ratio gets to a certain percentage, which is about 80%, loan to value ratio, and they start telling you or sending you notifications that either you deposit more money in or they're going to set up the payment for their loans, that means you can go from having cryptos, and some cryptos that this person held was like Bitcoin and XRP, those long-term cryptos. Now they have nothing because they totally wiped out their cryptos. So now if that person wants to buy more Bitcoin, they bought in at a very low rate. But if they want to buy into Bitcoin, they may have to buy in now at $18,000 when they was able to get in under like $2,000 with crypto. They had XRP in that holding, and now is you can't find XRP but any exchange but Uphold, and I will really question that, right? But now the XRP that they had, so if XRP really meet this $1 or $10, they don't have it, and their crypto that they got in at 2,000 or the Bitcoin is gone. That's why I tell people, be careful with taking loans out against your crypto and taking loans out against real estate. I hope a lot of people, for example, did not take out HELOCs to invest in crypto. And now they may not have the cash flow to pay that HELOC back, and they may have lost all their crypto, or taking loans out to invest in the stock market because you trade or you swing trade, right? So you have to know, as the Western Sun says, you have to know when to hold them and when to fold them, and you cannot get greedy in this game. When cryptocurrencies and real estate market, things like that, hit a high, all-time high, and you're flipping, right? You want to go ahead and pay off that debt that you might have against it, and you definitely want to make sure you have money to pay the IR to the S. They are the original gangsters, right? They are the original OGs. You don't play with the IRS. Let me tell you, they will script you of everything. So Kenny Rogers, as he said in that Western Sun, you gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them. And so those are just some things I'm hearing today about cryptocurrency. Ty says, "Hey Queen, they still let you deposit." I wouldn't want to deposit, but this Ty, that's like saying I can make deposits in a bank account, but I can't make withdrawals. Who wants to trust that? Why would I deposit in something that when I'm ready to take the money back out or the gains back out, the account is frozen? So I never mentioned Celsius. I never mentioned Terra Luna on my channel. I never have. And then another conversation I had with this person, another person called me today and said they want to get involved in investing, specifically stocks. And I said, well, I don't deal with the stock market. I just don't. And I'm strictly cryptocurrency and real estate and cash flowing businesses. Right? That's why I have cash flow on the screen. And so then she mentioned, she said, well, what about, she didn't say Dogecoin. I think she called it Doggy Coin, or she didn't say Doge. I forgot what she said, Doggy Coin. And I said, well, honey, listen, if you're just not getting crypto, don't start with Dogecoin. Don't start with the meme coins. Don't start with the Shiba Inu. I said, I do have some Doge and She, but that was after the fact. This was after that I got main cryptos in my portfolio, right? And I immediately thought of this quote. What caused the stock market crash in 1929? And what do we still get wrong about it? I immediately went to this, right? By the end of October, which we're going to see the crash come around the same time, history may not repeat itself in the same fashion, right? But it often rhymes. So we're going to see it in October of 2022. And they had rebounded from the 10% dip, but the stocks plummeted again following October the 28th. And the stock market tumbled in the next couple of weeks. This is why I'm so big on studying the past, the present, to know where our future will be. And I looked at this article and I thought about it. It said this is the beginning of the Great Depression. And it was confusion about Black Thursday. Now they didn't have crypto to be concerned about at this time. But one of the quotes that stood out to me about the 1929, 1930 depression is that who made this quote? I think it was Joe Kennedy. Joe Kennedy from the Kennedy family. And it's a famous story about how in the late summer of 1929, in the summer, now this is before the fall, in the summer of 1929, a shoe shine boy who was shining Joe Kennedy's shoes began to give him stock tips. And Joe Kennedy he said this famous quote: if the shoe shine boys are giving stocks tips, it's time to get out of the market. People, I said that to say this. If common people know about Dogecoin, Sheeb, and things like that, that raises a red flag for me. That raises a red flag with me. If if you go somewhere and you're a nail tech, you're getting a manicure and a pedicure, and people that's not normal investors, for example, are telling you about they invested in Doge and Sheeb, that's scary. I had an elderly lady. She called it Dogecoin. I remember her. This was a grandmother. There was a teacher assistant at the school, and she said, and I'm thinking about getting into Dogecoin. I'm like, I might not get out. I need to get out of Dogecoin. When something comes so familiar, I'm just telling you from investing, that's not That's not a good sign. 1111, dang, they got some of you all. I don't know what you mean by dang, they got some of you all. Um, I don't know what you mean by 2016 original athletes. So, with that being said, people, inflation again is at an all-time high. It is going now. One thing this person talked to me about that they did know is that they knew gas prices were going to increase by next month. I did agree with them on that. Right? They said I know the economy is only going to get higher. Where you people cannot afford it. You got inflation right now in Phoenix, rising gas, food prices. They're saying it's not even to blame. It's rent. The landlord recently increased the rent on a one-bedroom apartment in Phoenix from $850 a month to $1,150. So that's the real 1111 original athletes, a 26% increase. She barely entertained the idea of looking for a new place outside of Phoenix where the rents are averaging, people, this is the 911 code, the 111, as of April, $1,911 according to Zillow. That's 27% higher than where they were 2 years ago. Right. And so here's 11 again, 11% amongst the 23 major cities. I shared with you all a story, another article in Florida where people were renting mobile homes, trailer parks. And it wasn't the rent of the mobile home because the tenant had paid the mobile home, right? They had paid the mobile home in full, but the landlord increased the property taxes that the mobile home, the plot of land that the mobile home sat on. And so people, I've been paying it forward. I've been, it's showing 167 people on this live stream right now. And I'm speaking with sincere heart because I know in the 1930s, people actually committed suicide. Listen, if you lost crypto again, or if your 401k is down, right? Some people 401ks, I haven't touched that yet. 5 years of labor in their 401ks to where people just not even going to look at their 401k. But I'm telling you this, you need to, and you might not be able to do it today. Do it from a place of strength, but you need to look at this so you can know what you need to do moving forward. Do it from I don't want you to be so depressed when you're looking at 401k, but you need to see where you stand, especially if you was 2 or 3 years or 5 years from retirement. Even if you're a baby boomer, you need to know where you stand. Because the number that I have on the screen to test cash flow, it was specifically for people to have options to roll over their 401k into an index cash value account that even when the stock market crash, your 401k will be stable. But a lot of you all get so familiar with me that you don't take action. You don't take action. And I've been formerly known as the queen of credit. And if my tax person saw this live stream, he would be like, I told you so, because we would have debates all the time, which is better credit versus cash flow. But this was before 2020, right? So I own up to that. And I will always say credit first, because then you could get credit approval without having to prove your cash flow or your bank deposit. That's not the case now. You're going to have to show positive cash flow in order to get credit approval. And there are some great cashback rewards, credit cards. I always tell people, not from a position of financial advice, but financial education, that using cashback reward credit cards is a plus because it's just another way to get passive income stream. But now, people, even that depreciating fiat government greenback dollar is what people, and protecting your assets is what people need to be focused on. This is why I have been having cash flow on the screen. I've been telling people get the maximum amount of money out of your paycheck. Get the maximum amount of government tax shelters and tax money back. Get thousands of dollars back in taxes, and not from a position where you have to do this with low income, where you can get high income and high tax returns. Get your credit up. Keep your credit up. Let me show you some of the best cashback rewards credit cards, because people now more than ever, every penny counts. Everything you can do to protect your 401k, to keep and maintain good credit, to get extra cash flow, not income. Incomes requires your active labor every time in order to earn a dollar or two. You need leverage income. You need to get in mastermind groups and in a community of people that won't only keep your mindset right in this recession and keep you focused, but can talk cash flowing, credit, investing strategies with you so you can know what option works for you. Now is the time, and now is not the time for you to cut on the television more, which is the electronic income reducer, AIR, and get out of Zoom trainings list. Entering into the depression, you don't want to be, you want to be in a community of like-minded people who's going to talk about strategies and things and moves to make in real time in this recession going into a depression. Capital One card right now, if you have good excellence and good credit, a one-time $200 bonus, $500 back on purchases within 3 months, 0% on purchases for the first 15 months. That's free credit purchasing power that comes with a passive income. Wells Fargo, active cash card, 2% cash back. City card, 5% cash back for just using this wisely as you would a debit card. You use a debit card, you get no incentives. Your money is not making money, and you're not getting any money back from using it. So what's the point of using it? And credit card keeps better accounting records. 5% cash back for the city custom cash card, up to $500 spent, 1% thereafter. 0% interest rate for the first 15 months. City double cash cards, no rotating categories, no caps, only cash back. You can receive checks to pay for yourself. My first rental property, I purchased with a check that was connected to a Discover credit card. I wrote a check to myself, deposited in my bank account, and then got a cashier check from the bank to purchase my first flip rental property. Bank of America. So don't tell me you can't buy real estate with a credit card. You can. 3% cash back, 2%. And then if you're buying gas anyway, why not get cash back? So many people are taking their cash flow and their credit cards for granted because they didn't know that this time could come with the stock market and cryptocurrency by the snap of government hand would crash. And then guess what? Some people are gonna have to pay back those PPP loans. Uh-huh. because they falsified information. Who used to say this? Oh, I just thought about it. He's actually incarcerated in jail right now. But he used to do podcasts, and he used to always say, "Coming down your road." I've heard someone say this morning that the only reason why the IRS haven't caught up with people with the PPP loans is because your last name starts with a Z or a W or a Y. They just haven't got to you yet, but they're coming down your road. So people took out the PPP loans, they parted, they parlayed, they did not invest, right? But if you invested, I do have, whether it's in crypto, I can't do anything for you if you bought real estate at the highest peak of the market, right? But there will be a comeback. There will be a comeback for some stock and some crypto. Some stocks are never coming back because they are not a part of the fourth industrial revolution. Some cryptocurrencies were Ponzi schemes to begin with. They're not coming back, meaning they was just pumping dump coins. That's why getting and investing in. If I sometimes people ask me, I have $1,000, what crypto should I invest in? Or I have $5,000, what crypto should I say? You should invest in the education of crypto. Shiba Inu added another. Now she was just one of those cryptos that I said, hey, I like the meme behind it, the spirit behind it, developers working on it. Even those developers are working on it. But I do know even Elon Musk sold Tesla stocks at the top of the market. That should tell you something right now. When inside people are selling, even their stocks, you got Chronos at 11 cents. The good news is, if you get, this is the only crypto that I've seen up today. If you get a financial education, right, that this is a great time to buy in the red. When it's blood in the streets, it's time to eat. Another good thing, Nancy Pelosi has $1 million in stock options that expire next year. So Nancy Pelosi believes that the stock market will come back next year. And I believe, but I really expected this to go on with cryptocurrency in the fall, which we might see a uglier bloodbath in the fall. We might, but these cryptocurrencies, some of them are part of the fourth industrial revolution. They're not going away. And if people are buying, have the cash flow and the education to buy the dips and hold and able to hodl, right? But that's the question. Do people have the education and the cash flow? You don't invest and hope to just flip. You should look at cryptocurrency, and unless you have the knowledge of how to swing trade and day trade with the stock market, right? Even if you're trading with the stock market, make sure you have your tax money up. The tax man coming. Leroy Thompson says money coming, but I say sometimes with that money coming, the tax man coming too. That's why Jesus taught about taxes in the Bible. Larry says, I agree. Z Truth, Z the Truth, ISO coins are the best. I agree with that. I'm doing great, Larry. Should I hold my XRP and HBAR? Larry, I don't get into answering those questions. I give financial education, not financial advice. But this is what I will say without answering the question directly. I definitely would not sell any type of crypto when I'm in the red. Because as long as you are holding, it's just a paper loss. It's not a prosperity loss. It's just a loss on paper. And if people don't understand that about investing in digital currencies, then this may not be the game they should be playing in. Digital currency is just a paper loss. Now you may be saying, well, Queen, you said something about 401ks, and can I look at my 401k as a paper loss? Not if it's going to affect you working an extra 5 or 10 years, and not when you can convert it into a fund that's going to protect it from getting losses. So study even your stocks with due diligence. Know which stocks are going to thrive in this fourth industrial revolution and which ones won't survive. Not all stocks are going to carry over. Some of them are antiquated, outdated. Now, the reason why I tell people to test cash flow to get their cash flow up, their credit up, because the government is still giving away money. It's just in the form of tax shelters, not necessarily stimulus checks and PPP loan. The IRS, aka Uncle Sam, aka the government, is increasing mileage rate for the rest of 2022 to combat high gas prices. So they've qualified for mileage deductions. But guess what? This does not apply to people that do not have the cash flowing home based business that I've been telling you about. If you are just an employee, you don't get standard mileage rate deductions. If you're self employed, some of the tax deductions that you can get from this home based business, from even the oil changes that you do, your insurance, your internet, is well over 475 deductions that you never heard of, that people miss out on because they don't want the financial education. They want the cake, but they don't want to read the instructions step by step. And most don't want to invest in the ingredients. They want to invest in the byproduct. They just want the cake. They just want to have their cake and eat it. And so when you leave the future of your financial decisions to somebody else versus getting at least a basic education yourself, that's when you are walking a very hazardous line. It's nothing wrong with asking people questions, but you should always do as much research and educate yourself. People, we don't even have to buy encyclopedias anymore to do that. Now, if I had a young adult watching me, they won't even know what an encyclopedia is. A lot of things you can do through Google. You can Google the benefits of a home-based business tax deductions and see why that's to your advantage to have it. And I'm going to end this live stream with this, people. One source of income is hazardous to your wealth. You don't know when your job will lay off. The reason why Chronos, for example, Crowcoin is down to 11 cents is because they laid off 5% of their staff, over 260 employees. You can't just say with assurance that you have a recession-proof business or a recession-proof job. If you're married, you should have at least 4 income streams in that household. If you're single, you should have 2 or more. At least. I've been telling you all this for the last 2 years that this day was coming. Again, even silver and gold took dips today. Not as big as the stock market, not as big as cryptos, but they took dips. And for a lot of people that's new to cryptocurrency, you like, great buying opportunity. I agree. But you can come back. But it's a reason why that you can distribute all the wealth equally globally to people, and it will still end up back in the 5% hand because they know tax strategies. They know the importance of getting assets to get cash flow versus focusing on income and bigger paychecks. And this home-based business with cash flow on the screen is one of the most inexpensive operational costs with the highest profit margin businesses right now, that gives you the experts that help you get the money back, the thousands of dollars back from the government. I say this all the time. Virtually everyone on my team has a minimum of $300 or more, and that's coming out of their paycheck, and they're getting paid daily. I just posted this on my Facebook page. And I say this, people, not only is one source of income dangerous to your wealth, but I also tell people that daily pay keeps recession away. Daily pay keeps recession away. Some people, out of the 365 days out of the year, only get paid 26 times. Some people get paid weekly. Some people get paid bi-weekly. Some people get paid monthly. You need a daily payment plan. Not only do people get more money out of their paychecks, they increase their income through this cash flowing business, but they also increase their credit scores, immediately discount on their utility bills. I've heard that some people, light bill, water bills, have also inflated $200 or $300 more, and sometimes more than that. Now you have high temperatures in California, Texas. What do you think that's going to do to your utility bills? This man right here not only received more money out of his paycheck, but he's getting paid $40 a day. He was at the $20 a day level. That's $1,200 of cash flow. Leverage income, not labored income, where he's not changing. It's changing a whole lot of time for a whole lot of money. And people, if this recession don't bring out a sense of urgency and somewhat hustle out of you, it never was in you. It never was in you. And I'm not talking about selling more products to get more money and then you're paying more taxes. I'm not talking about an affiliate program. I'm talking about getting with this program, getting more money, cash flow, getting more income out of your paycheck, and then getting 475 tax deductions, which means bigger paydays, higher income, and higher tax returns. If you're going to spend $5, $6, $7 a gallon at the gas pump, why not have that as tax write-off and get some of that money back at the end of the year? See, some of these side hustles, they won't give you your gas money back. They won't give you your mileage back. They won't deduct your car expenses when you drive for business use. Let me say it this way. If you make $50,000 a year, for example, do you know the government takes about $18,000 in taxes, leaving you only $32,000? That's why millionaires go broke. This is why rich people go broke. This is why people that hustle oftentimes are hustling backwards because they don't understand the power of tax deductions. Your internet, your car registration. It's not about bigger income and paychecks. It's about bigger assets and cash flow. And this home-based business is an asset. So as easy as money can go, it's easy the government can take that 30% off the top. And you know what else, speaking of that? A lot of people that's in the red today that lost in cryptocurrency or either stocks, if they flipped or trade, they're going to have a large tax bill at the end of the year by the IRS because they don't have any tax shelters. And the money to pay the taxes won't even be there. So that's why most people that have side hustles are still not doing better financially because they don't have a full financial education and they don't understand the method of keeping more of the money that they make. If you are going to hustle, then have the tax shelters. So when that 1099 comes in from Amazon or wherever your side hustle is for your easy money, you can keep more of the money you made from Amazon. Now, U.S. Trademark filing his Arizona State University planning classes at the Metaverse. So now classes will be on the Metaverse non-fungible tokens to authenticate many documents from diplomas to tickets for the university events, right? So, that's a big thing. HBAR may be used for some of this documentation. But, thing about HBAR and XRP, those won't be just big pump coins. Those, you have to really wait until use cases and things like this get implemented before you really, really start seeing those gains. So the trademark filings include the university names as well as the Sun Devils pitchfork symbol and logo for use in virtual environments in which users can interact for recreational, leisure, or entertainment purposes, as well as educational purpose. So classes in the virtual environment, NFTs for video games, of sports highlights, so that's great. NFTs for event tickets and artworks. So this was, made on June 7th, Arizona State. And I'm sure that other universities and colleges will follow. So, people, with that being said, if you're not investing, I'm not talking about hustling. If you're not investing, if you're not networking with people, as I have this other screen up, how to get a job in the metaverse and Web3, interact and network with people. I tell people all the time, solo money is slow money, hustling on your own. Start getting leverage cash flow instead of labored income and flipping products and hustling and doing all of that. I did the hustle. I did credit repair. I had to be the customer service. I had to ship the disputes. I had to write the disputes. Then some people said, why don't you just hire somebody? Well, then they would have learned my secrets and I would have been training my competition. That hustling life, it'll get you tired real quick. And even if you pay shipping costs to another entity, the amount of money you can have by networking with people, you can keep more of the money you make in the home-based business because you're not taxed to the end of the year. And you have customer service that come with the business for free. For free. You don't have to pay customer service, which I'm pretty sure on Amazon, shipping costs and all of that, you have to pay. But how to get a job in the metaverse, network with people, build your brand, create content, and increase your exposure in the crypto market. Now, I would say when it comes to the home-based business, that's in the marketplace. So, can you work in the metaverse? It's the next career path to land an ideal job with Meta, Roblox, Microsoft, OpenSea, the Sandbox. Many others are constructing it. So, if you want to know how to land a job in the metaverse, you need to be aware of what your role may look like. Essentially, your job may include a combination of blockchain, artificial intelligence, 5G, and gaming, and other Web3 technologies like augmentative reality and virtual reality. Virtual reality, Web3 technology. So, also study your Web3 cryptos and your DeFi cryptos, decentralized financing. A lot of people right now will still probably look at the options of taking loans out against their crypto, especially if their personal credit is butchered. So DeFi financing, ISO 222, and you always have the big dogs like Bitcoin or Ether that's not going anywhere, right? So I'm signing out. Text cash flow. You want to get your cash flow up. You want to get thousands back from the government for. You can rent out a home office in your home, apartment, or condo for like $400 a month and get that back from the government. Depends on the square footage. I'm talking about getting money back from the money that you're spending. See, it's good to make more money, but most people don't know how to get their money back. Getting money back from utility bills and groceries and your children up to $12,400 per child. Getting money back and adding money to you is what most people don't realize. What if I told you that you might get double tax return this year just by making this one chess move? And you can keep more of the money that you're making in any other business sector. Don't hustle backwards, right? Play the game smart and play the game right. Because one thing that Kevin Hart and Steve Harvey both showed us, if you listen to any of their interview, that it don't matter how much thousands you make and millions you make. If you don't have tax shelters, Steve Harvey said he had to work 6 to 7 years just to pay the IRS. Red Fox lost everything: house, gold. Lauryn Hill, Wesley Snipes. If you're really serious about making money, then you invest in having tax shelters. If you don't invest in that, you and I are not even ready for a conversation because you're not serious. If you're not serious about having cash flow versus income or flipping or hustling all the time, you're not even ready to have a conversation with me because your mindset and your financial IQ and education is not on point. So I would suggest, if you don't understand the importance of that, is purchase the book by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. What rich and wealthy people teach their children that poor and middle class people do not. Or Robert Kiyosaki, The Business for the 21st Century. Read those books. And when you have all those components in place, then you can retire rich. You have financial independence. You can have financial freedom. And you may have 99 problems, but money will not be one. Hey, I'm signing out, you all. Also, if you want to know what cryptos that are good to buy right now in the dip, then text that number crypto. Text the keyword crypto to 331-444-5556. You want cash flow, including a discount on your bills, increasing your credit scores within 24 hours. If you have a paycheck, you will get a notice from the experts. All you have to do is upload your 2 recent paychecks stub in your most recent tax return. They will notify you in 24 hours if you qualify for an increase. Virtually everyone on my team, like I said, $300 to $1,400, the highest for a married couple that they didn't know that they was missing and overpaying in taxes. Right? You get that in 24 hours once you upload those documents. And you get thousands of tax shelters and get tax money back, especially if you're a high income earner. Right? So I'm signing out, you all. Queen out. Make sure you like and share. If you're watching me on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, right? And hit that bell notification right next to the subscribe button so you will know whenever I'm live streaming. And everyone in the crypto and 401k world, stock world, real estate world, keep your head up. Also, if you're in the 401k, you want to protect your 401k from the crash. Texting Cash Flow does that as well. You all, Queen out.